All right, so all my Killeen, Fort Hood, Temple area homeowners, I've got something here that you're gonna want to see. I'm gonna go over the housing market data. All right, city by city, Killeen, Temple, Copperas, Cove, Belton. All right, we're gonna go over that city by city so that you can see what's actually happened. But there's some things on the wider scale. I've got our whole metro right here. And there's some things that I'm gonna want you to see because you might be coming up on some relief. So right now, my market action index says that we're in a strong buyer's market. So I've talked to a couple sellers and they tell me, oh, I thought it was a seller's market. I've heard it was a seller's market. We are in a strong buyer's market. Okay. That's first thing. Next thing I want to show you is kind of where housing prices are. So this is the median list price. If you notice, this is pretty much flat like all year. All year, it's pretty much flat. So the median house price in our area is kind of sticking around this 200,000 to 300K mark. All right. And then our price per square foot, it's also gone down a bit, but we're right at 165. It's a good thing to keep in mind. The median price of new listings, that means the houses that are coming on the market, the median price for those is right around 299. So that means like we are in sync. The active inventory with what is actually coming on the market is in sync. Another number that lets us know that we are improving on the market for sellers is this 36% price decrease. Now, 36% of the homes on the market decreasing their price, not necessarily good, but earlier in the year, we were in the 40s. Okay. So this tells me that home buyers and home sellers are coming to a bit of a consensus on where these housing prices should be. Now, the median days on market, it's going up. It's at 105 days on the market. Now, if you do the right things to your house, if you market it right and you sell it at a price that is definitely, it's going to make sense, then you're not going to sit for 105 days. So you got to think median days on market is 105 days, and 36%, over a third of the homes on the market, are decreasing their price. So if you price competitively, you might still see a decent amount of time on market, but you don't have to see 105 days and you don't have to price drop. A couple other things I want to touch on. Inventory. Our inventory seems to be going down bit by bit. That's a good thing for our home sellers, but our market action is slow. We're just coming out of the holiday season. So really this next 60 days is going to be the determining factor. And I'm going to show you why. Historically, around the February timeframe, that's when everything starts to pick up. You can see prices start to pick up. All right, market action is going to pick up until that February timeframe is pretty much the mark. Right at the end of February, the bottom of the market is at the beginning. Okay, so home prices kind of go down up until that point. Then they start to raise up, especially in our area, because that is prime PCS season. A couple things I want to tell you. I want to tell you about some big news that's actually going to affect your home price. At least I think it will. Okay, I'm going to touch on that in a second. I'm going to touch on some of Zillow's forecasts for this 2026. And there's a trend that I also want you guys to see. All right, so I'm going to get granular and actually touch on the cities that we have. Belton's median price is 344, and that's steadily been going down. So from 367 in October, September, all the way down to this 340-ish number. Okay. Home prices are steady declining in Belton, even though it has been one of the most desirable places, and the average days on market is picking up 144 days. So if your house is on the market in Belton, if it's sitting, it might not be your fault. Market action of 27, that's going to be strong buyer's market, just so you know, give you that information. Copperas Cove, median list price, 251. Copperas Cove has been a great, affordable, alternate option for people that don't necessarily want to be in Killeen, but they still want to be really close to base. But the fact that we're seeing average day on market of 126, that lets me know we're still in a very, very slow market, and it's not going to get better this month. Okay. Georgetown has an average median price of $499, 127 days on market. I was just helping a buyer in Georgetown, and the seller actually made us an offer. like a reverse offer, right? Not a bad strategy for you home sellers out there. If you really want to try and get your home sold, make an offer to the buyer who came to see it. Okay, let's do Harker Heights. Median list price has been fluctuating slightly, but like overall, pretty flat right here around this 330 mark. So Harker Heights is holding its value, but 146 days is a long time to wait. All right, that's mostly new constructions, though. There's a lot of new construction happening that will increase the days on market. Jarrell got a median list price of 286. I actually really like Jarrell for home buyers right now. It is a tough time for sellers, but things are moving a little quicker out there than they are a little bit north in this Killeen area. All right, Killeen at 249. Average days on market 116. Market action is a little bit higher at that 31. So that's good, nice and healthy. To me, the Killeen housing market should be right around here. The days on market should be lower, but this 249 price point, like that is Killeen. If it gets down as low as 225, I could see a lot of people snapping up houses, but like that's also going to be really painful for a lot of home sellers. All right. We got some Pflugerville numbers here, Round Rock numbers as well, 430, 113 days on the market. Salado, all right, 554K is the median price range down there. Super expensive, and the homes are sitting. Usually homes on the higher end sit longer. But I'll say this, I helped a family get a beautiful custom construction there, and we took it off the market pretty much as soon as it was ready. And people at this price point are not necessarily in the same financial situation as people that are shopping in the 250s. So they can afford to spend a little bit more. They can afford those custom houses. And even though they sit, I bet you we see a lot less price drops in the Salado area. Temple, average priced is 289.9. Average days on market 150. This 28 means that we're in a pretty strong buyer's market. And I'll say Temple was one of the most affected markets by this recent downturn. Hopefully they start to see an increase in activity, and that is going to be due to some news that I want to share with you now. So hopefully our little update here was informative, but I've got something else that I want to show you. So this is what I wanted you to see. If the president's able to get Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to buy $200 billion in mortgage bonds, that will drive interest rates down. Might only drive them down by like 1/4 of a point, but every little bit helps, right? Especially when we've been in this high interest environment for the past several years. And right now, interest rates are at about 5.99 while I'm making this video. On a VA, that's about 5.75. So now that looks like 5.5. 5.25, coming off of 6 and 7, that is gonna drive more demand. Now, if mortgage bonds have more demand, that means there will be more buyers in the market. And I think Zillow has a prediction that pretty much speaks to this. They're saying existing home sales will climb slightly. So they do see more homes selling. We've had pretty much record lows all throughout these past couple of years of actual people buying homes, and we had record highs in inventory. So they see this actually getting better and more home buyers entering the market. Lower rates, more buyers entering the market means you're going to be able to get a better price for your home. Now, there's one last number I want to show you, and that is right here. It's the original list to close price. This is the percentage home sellers are getting right now in our area for their home when they list. And right now it's at 92.5, right? That is 7.5% less than they actually listed for. So a little cheat code, if you get close to that 7.5% less than market value when you price, you will likely sell very, very fast. It's not a hard rule, right? You don't have to go 7%, go 3% under, go 4% or 5%. But if you're likely to get 7.5% less anyway, then don't price it high, sit on the market forever, lose that mortgage money every month, and then just have to take the price cut anyway. There is a strategy that works. And I was just looking up my stats recently. My home sellers actually get 100% on average. So the average is actually 99.7, something like that. That is what my home sellers have been seeing over the past few years with their actual list to close price, because we follow a strategy and a system that works. If you want to get more of these market updates, info below. If you want to talk about your home, what it might sell for, and how fast it might sell in today's market, all my info is below as well. Thanks for spending a little bit of time with me here today, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.